It's my great pleasure now to introduce BERT MIZUSAWA, who is an advisor to the Trump campaign on foreign affairs. And he has a remarkable background and resume. He's currently president of PacCentric Inc., which provides business and national security consulting services for corporate and government decision makers. He's a Major General in the Army and former commander of the Combined Joint Interagency Task Force Afghanistan. He has commanded the Army's most forward deployed infantry company in Korea at the DMZ, a Marine Landing Battalion, and the Army Reserve's Cyber Command. MIZUSAWA served in leadership positions during 4 combat tours and is the recipient of the Silver Star, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, and over 30 other decorations as well as awards from foreign governments. During his career, he served as Senior Assistant to the Chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Secretary of the Army, and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's also held a gubernatorial appointment here in Virginia to the Virginia Homeland Security Commission, and he's also served on advisory boards and as a president of a major veterans organization. He graduated first in his class from West Point, which my grandfather went to West Point for 2 years and they asked him to leave. So that is a remarkable achievement. And he also holds a law degree from Harvard Law School, a master's in public policy from the Kennedy School at Harvard, and a master's of strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. Please welcome BERT MIZUSAWA.
So I'm just taking a break from the campaign because I wanted to come down here and talk to you all. It's a great honor. Jason Chung, who's at the RNC in charge of Asian American outreach, is now up in New York, and he asked me to show up here. It's a little bit of a change in my mindset because I was actually asked by Mr. Trump to come on board as a foreign policy advisor because I'm an Army general. And it started through friends in the Hampton Roads area where I ran for Congress a few years ago. But recently, Mark Lloyd, by the way, I should point out, has been all over the state doing some great things. And as an Army guy, I always appreciate the ground game versus the air game that we do. But last 2 weeks have been kind of just crazy. I was in Virginia Beach and I was Mr. Trump's opening act and flew back with him via Greenville, North Carolina. And while I was on the airplane with him, he just was asking all these interesting questions. And he was starting asking questions about Asia Pacific. And he heard him say, well, who would win between Japan and China? Who would win between Korea and Vietnam? And who's tougher? Who's tougher between all these Asian groups? And I said, Mr. Trump, all the Asians are tough. All the Asians are tough. But somehow that segued into, I explained to him when I was Japanese American, and he looked at me and he was very surprised. And I said, it's true. I said, I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I have my birth certificate. Rudy Giuliani was sitting with him and almost fell out of his chair. So I inadvertently, I think I might have helped to resurrect the birther issue until But I really had a chance to spend some quality time with Mr. Trump. And I do want to get to him on policy, important national security, and foreign policy, and they come together. I've also been appointed to be a lead when President-elect Trump has that new status to implement all of the commitments that he's making throughout the world. And Asia Pacific is one of the most complicated areas out there, and that distinguishes Asian Americans in many ways from the other ethnic groups, African Americans and Hispanics. They share a common language, at least, and a common historical identity. Asian Americans are a little different. The one thing we all have in common is we're all here. We're all here. I wish we were all Republican, but we're all here in America now. And as I was talking to a young attorney, this is a land of immigrants. My grandparents immigrated to Hawaii from Japan at the turn of the 20th century, and my mother became an American in the late 1990s. And so I came via Hawaii. Very interesting. My father had an older brother who was killed fighting for Korea during the Korean War. And I didn't know much about this young private who was killed until later in life. And it was a very interesting story. But I just explained that because my father had an older brother killed in the Korean War, he was sent to Europe to be part of the occupation forces there. And that's where he met my mother. And so if it weren't for my uncle's sacrifice in the Korean War, I would not have existed, first of all. But I've had just been focused on issues all over the world. I spent time in Europe, Iraq, Afghanistan, Panama, Korea, Japan, and what have you. And I know that we were supposed to have pivoted or shifted towards Asia Pacific. That shift is not complete. I want to make sure that we pay more attention to the issues coming out of Eastern Asia, Northeast, Southeast, South Asia. And I know we have some issues out there. I think we all need to work together and make sure that we still have long-term peace and security in this great nation. So I just flew down from New York today. I'm trying to help Mr. Trump prepare for debates. He has a very interesting way of preparing. I'm under a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't explain all the interesting things that we're doing that you would be interested in. But I can tell you, he's an amazing man. If you look at his schedule, you would be just amazed with his stamina. I mean, it's one thing after the other. He's comfortable in his own skin. He's a very, very bright man. He asks a lot of really, really good questions. He doesn't pretend like he's got all the answers. He's very inquisitive. He's laid out some high markers for us to implement once he's elected. And so I'm looking forward at this point not only to his victory and our victory on November 8th, but also to help him become the greatest president we've had. And so I will mention one other thing. Asian Americans suffer a little bit because we're not numerous. And where we have numbers are not necessarily strategic swing states. Virginia is, as a general officer, I can tell you, Virginia is key terrain. Fairfax County is going to be decisive terrain in this upcoming election. And you heard that 18% figure. You can actually help him win the victory and become our next president. We need to get out the vote, help Mark Lloyd, help your unit chairs, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep Mr. Trump on the straight and narrow and continue doing what he's doing so we can win. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I hope to be able to interact with you after this. Thank you very much.